Hi guys, it's EGC here. So today I'm here with another D standard deck profile with the update from DBT06, and this time I'll be covering a Dragon Empire. And from the thumbnail you'll know it's about Nirvana Jheva. So this is a new Nirvana that we get, and we are actually getting new mechanics. It's a little bit more annoying for your end in order to get that done, because in the past we only need one trickster and one of the unit that we need to overdress and do that, but now we need an extra unit. So it's harder, but what we gain is actually better, and the threat level of the unit on the field is kind of different, and when we go over the deck we will see what actually happens. But let's talk about the right line first. So the right line is completely new for the whole BD06 set, but of course starter you can use whatever you want. And grateful because we are running the new Nirvana, we are playing the new mechanics, so we are using the new one. The thing is about the middle ones. Some people just go with other right line if they really want to, but I think if you are just trying to get into knowing about this deck, this right line from the set is still the best for you, because with Great One it's still the same as previous Reno, that you can still get a trickster from the deck onto the field. And then what different is Ryu. When your Jheva right on tops, you can look at top 7 and find a flare dragon. So this is something that I did kind of miss, because when we are looking at like the Japanese word, sometimes we just read it wrong. Like for example, Nirvana is a frame dragon but not a flare dragon. So yeah, that's something that you cannot pick, which means you can only pick the parts that you use to make your X-overDress for, and you're only looking at top 7. So if you don't put enough, you won't be finding anything, and if you can't find it and you don't have anything in your hand and you don't have anything in your drop, that means you can't do your X-overDress. So just from the right line you can see one issue with this deck is you need to have a good balance on your X-overDress units and also your flare dragon units, that you are going to use it as a material for your X-overDress. And I have my own set of ratio. I will show you guys in a bit, and you probably will see why I'm doing that one, but of course I'll explain it as well. But for the right line, I am using the new set one so that we can have a higher chance to actually get to where we want. And then tricksters, I'm still running 4. Don't need to worry about that too much, because we can search one, but we always do want an extra one in our starting hand, because we can just ditch it for the right deck and bring it back when we start writing our Nirvana, so we can have 2. Because only one of the X-overDress units on the field is not going to save you. You need more than one. That's how you give your opponents threats, and how you utilize your attack sequence with Nirvana is very important here. So you do need to max out your trickster. If you are brave enough to do 3, you can, but so far I'm not. I just don't want to see like 2 trickster go to the damage zone and I never see a heal and I lose because of that. I don't want to see that. So yeah, I'm running 4. And then 3 more Nirvana, just for personal ride, for the soul and such, because soul is quite important. And then next we are going to go through the X-overDress units that I picked. So my ratio here is 4 of the brand Vairinas, and then 3 of the Garo Vairinas, and then 2 of this other grade 2, which is a Beerus Vairinas. So the reason I'm running 4 of this is because I love board wipe. Just one is not enough. We are killing basically a whole column right now, as long as this card hits, which is quite easy. And this card, as long as your opponent is grade 3, you play him as a crossover-dress unit, he will get 20k plus. So he's a 33k attacker, quite strong, and being able to withstand by a Jheva, that's really like a big threat against a lot of decks. For example, for Leonor, they don't like you touch their field. Even with decks like Sauger, you can revive stuff, but the on-hit pressure is still there, because it's like they don't mind you take the Prison Dragon away, but if you also take out the back row, they need some effort to bring them back, right? So even those decks, or even just like the Shadow Army tokens, you clean them up, they need to brew it up again. And this effect is not once, it's actually once per turn on the board wipe, so you probably can only do it once, but do be careful on that. The moment that your opponents take a hit, what choices you want to make, because sometimes you rather kill something from behind the Vanguard rather than just a whole column, depending on how a big threat of those units are. So make your choice wisely, and this is going to help you out. And this, the Garo Vairinas is a guard restrictions from hand, which if you do have the promo PG, I think you can kind of dodge that, because you are only playing a Blitz order instead of actually using card from hand to guard. If I'm wrong, some people feel free to just fix me, but I think that's how it works. But to a lot of decks, even we have that order, and if you have seen, like, my rand is not that easy to get unless we are getting our reprint starters. But how many people are just going to get reprint starter and they already have all the contents they want when they buy their first reprint starters, right? So that's another thing. But you only can do it once, because the order is 1 per deck, and you can withstand it, and the guard restriction keep applying. So having 2 attacks with this card, at least 20k, can go 30k with 2 hand restrictions, that going to drain your opponent's resources so much. And with these 2, the power gain is somehow permanent. Like the +10 and +5 here, they are also existing during your opponent's turn. So they, unless they get retired, they get prison, they are quite safe, right? And your Beerus Vairinas actually can't be selected by opponent's effects. So this card just stays, and this card is important for you to pick up your other parts. He can't pick himself from a drop zone, but you can pick the other 2 from drop, so you can recycle things that you really need. That I think is just that is got enough, plus the 15k shield, plus the can't be targeted. This card is just great. But we don't have a lot of space for this card, because he only is a 15k compared to a 20, potentially 30, and a 33k attacker. He is a lot weaker, and you do need to have something to boost with 8k to reach 23k to at least be a little bit more threatening, because with Nirvana Jheva, we don't have power gain like the old Nirvana did. We have a restand, but we don't have the attack. So yeah, that's important to know. Okay, and next we have 4 of the Galondites. So this is the perfect combination for your Garo Vairinas, because if you do your crossover dress with this card, the unit that you play, get 5k. If it's a Garo Vairinas, it gets another 5k. That's how he can reach 30k for a turn. But after that, he will become a permanent 20k. That's all, basically. But the little power adjustment is actually quite important. It's just purely 20k. Yes, you can bait some shield, but your opponents can clever like trick it out. But if it's a 30k, the shield value asking is a lot higher, right? And if you get boost and such, then that's another thing. So I like to use this card a lot, so I'm playing 4, and then here comes the double rare one, which is Brahmada. This card is basically your Vairinas Arcs. For Vairinas Arcs, you overdress, counterblast 1, draw 2, this 1+5. With this, you play him, you cross-overdress with him, and after that, you counterblast 1, draw 2, discard 1 card. You don't get the 5k, but that's okay, because these units will gain power by themselves. And the key thing with this card is, you play him, right? Early game, rush with him. If your opponents take him out, let them do. Because you can bring it back with your Jheva, and if it stays, next turn, when you run your grade 2, your Reno skill activates, call yourself a trickster, then you can already start doing your crossovers with these, and start threatening your opponents with the power, and also get a draw. Do some filtering, right? And what you ditch can be a trickster, can be more of your flare dragons, that in your next turn you can simply just go into your Jheva, discard a card, bring 2 back, and do another combination. So this card is just so amazing, and we have to have 4, and again, worst of the worst. Your field is full of crossover dress units for the front row. You can just bring a trickster, bring this as a booster. AK booster is quite important right here, because with these, pump to 23k, with these at least 28, can be potentially 38. All of them hit key numbers, right? So being able to bring back an AK booster that can potentially turn into something bigger, allows you to draw 2, discard 1, that is just amazing. So these 2 is something that we needed 4 of. And then we also have our this one is the, let's say, Beerus Q. I'm not too sure about his name, unfortunately. Yeah, so far, because I only have him as the FR, I think he is a rare, right? Beerus skill. There you go, Beerus skill. So this card is, to me, not that important. He's here because I want to kind of maximize my number of flare dragons that I can search through my red lines, because only 8 I don't feel enough. Seriously, I don't feel enough. So I put 2 more, and it can bring out as a booster, but I usually don't use it as a for my crossover dress, because these 2 are just better. That's why I'm running more of them. But with him, what you can do is during your opponent's turn, if the crossover dress units that you have of this retire from rear guard circle or guardian circle, you can counterblast 2 and call this card to empty circle. So even if you use this to guard for a 15k shield, you can soul blast 2 and bring this back, or like with these ones, when you get popped by opponent's skill because they don't have protections, you can soul blast 2 and bring this out, and next turn you bring a trickster out and something else out and combine again. This can be a booster, right? And if you have a trickster in your hand, right, then that means you have 1 material, you have 1 trickster, you can discard 1 and bring 2 back to combine, that you have 2 crossover dress units again. So it got its uses, but so far I have not used that skill once. That's all I can tell. I use it as a booster, I use it as a shield, I use it as a fodder for ride deck, and then I bring back if I need, and combine to these, whatever that matters. But the Soul Blast 2 skill, so far I have not used it, but is it good to have? And then PG is just 3 of the great ones and the promo that I just showed. I think for now we'll all put one if we have one, so if you can find one, feel free to put one in and see if it works for you. I don't think we will be seeing a lot of Great Force, but who knows, maybe later we will have like full combos of Great Force appearing again, so you can get prepared. And trigger lineup is very easy. Dragon Empire, one because we love to do resistance, and do remember the resistance skill on crossover dress units with Nirvana Jheva is not once per turn, so if you resist with it over trigger, you can put the 100 million to your regard, attack with it, and your Vanguard go again, and you stand that unit again, so you can reuse the 100 million if you want to. Force or in crit, because like with this card we do need to Soul Blast, with this we need to Soul Blast. But so far, luckily, I don't need to actually play him on the field to Soul Charge, but if you really need to, it's there. And then 4 more normal crits, 3 of the 10k draws, and then 4 heals. So, basically, 95% of the materials, the cards that you need is within BT06. The only extra stuff you need is 4 of this crit, which you can just turn into whatever crit you want if you don't want to find a rare crit, because they sometimes can be expensive. Draw, so far I don't think you can avoid that unless you want to try for a front build, but I think drawing power is still quite important right here, so I mean this is something that you must have. Probably just try to get 4 so you can switch to 7-4 if you want to, but crit, if you don't want to find a strong crit, that's totally fine. You can just use a random common crit that can still do, and that's usually won't cost you any money, right? And the rest of the deck is just within like what you can find in the sets, so no need to worry about that too much. And yeah, and again, worst of the worst, if you can't get one of these, just use the PG from the sets. It's not bad, but this one is just a good way to kind of avoid something that you hate to see on guard restrictions, especially in a mirror match. Sometimes that card will just save your life sometimes. Yeah, so the deck itself is quite simple. Like what I usually build is also quite simple to use as well. The thing is, you like in your opening hand, what you do want to see, like, or when you look at top 5 in your hand, what do you usually keep? I would say one trickster is a possible target, right? And probably one of these is a good target, and then hopefully these. But if you really just only get the get this, I think you can keep that one as well. But the priority is have one of these, one trickster, one of these, this one maybe. The rest is up to you. Totally fine. Like, it can be a personal ride, it can be the brand Vairinas, but if I see this in my opening hand, unless I do have a grade 2, like if I have these parts, then this one is okay to keep. If I don't see these, I rather shuffle this card back, because It is a grade 3 cross-overdress unit, so that means you can't do some early aggression if you want to, and these cards won't be helping you out until you get a grade 3, and sometimes if you are going second, you might get rushed so hard that you eventually need to discard it anyway. So why don't it turn into like even just a crit? I'd rather do that so that I can survive and increase the chances I get into these. Then I can do something to come back, survive, and trying to win. And then when you get into like your grade 2 turn, right? So you probably have a trickster, right? But if you are going second, that's what I usually like. Play one of these to attack, and then when you get into grade 2, say if these ones survive, you call this, and say best situation is this, and then you have this, right? And then you start combining, going to these, both works, and then you get to draw and such. And if you after get another great one, play it right here, right? Or even like here. So you can like go this, or like this, and then this. Because in early game, a 20k is basically enough to fracture opponent's shield. So this guy is quite important, and early game your opponents will not guard your attacks because it's really too cost worthy unless you go in like most lucky situation, right? It's like you over trigger and then go into your crit and just swing. Then yeah, of course they might drop you a PG or something, but usually it won't go that far. So that's already good enough early aggression. And then when you go for this and see if you early game you actually get another trickster already ditched, then you can just discard something, like bring these back, combine. Now this time you can actually go into these and then just do like you can do this swing, withstand, and then this, or you can do like this, and then just withstand the one that you want, right? And boost whenever you find you need to. So give this deck a try. If you actually get the cards already, then let me know your thoughts, because so far I am having fun with this deck, quite fun. And I don't know, compared to in the past, I feel this deck a lot more threatening than before, because in the past I really quite struggling into finding the overdress parts, and they might hit hard but they don't do much. I'm basically doing free attacks, right? Even we get the X-overDress that withstands, but we still need to pull it up so that it can be threatening. But all these crossover dress units are just so good. Even this, because after 6 sets we finally have a protection. Yeah, we waited so long for protection, and even it's just a 15k with a 15k shield, that's still a big step for us. And these ones we don't need to talk about that. We know how strong they are. You will be so pleased to have this to do a lot of board wiping, and you will be very thankful for this card to exist when your opponent is 5 damage. Yeah. Because restand into one of these is actually quite scary, and you will feel that when you face against this deck, or when you are like actually using the deck and doing this to your opponent, both ways. So again, give it a try, comments down below, let me know your thoughts. Like this video if you like this deck profile. Subscribe for more deck profiles and deck fights coming soon, because my laptop is fixed, so I can start actually editing some of the fight videos. I did record some of the matches I play. I do need to check if I actually do any like big misplays or not. If not, then I can just do some simple edits and put them out. But we will see. And when it's there, you will see it there. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.